Hello and welcome back to the 6-week Latte Art Bootcamp. This week we're going to learn how to pour the heart. So last week in the first episode of the Latte Art Bootcamp, we learned how to set the crema and then move your jug in just to pour a little white dot on your coffee. If you haven't seen that episode, I definitely recommend checking that one out first because these skills are going to build on the skills you learned from that episode. So no matter what pattern you're trying to pour, setting the crema is the first thing we need to do. So let's pull some shots, steam some milk, and get started. When you're pouring and setting the crema from a bit of a height, if any white appears on your crema, you can just pour over the top of it and push it into that brown surface. So we're pouring carefully over the top of any of that white on the froth, and then we're moving things around just to keep that crema moving, and then we're going to move our jug in to start our pattern. And just so you know, at this point our cup is usually about 3/4 full, and that surface looks nice and shiny, ready to pour onto. For a heart, what we're doing is moving the spout of our jug close to that crema surface. And this is a lot easier to do if you're holding your cup on a bit of an angle. So when you get that spout close to the crema, you'll see that white bulb forming on top of the surface. Now what you want to do is move that jug to carefully push that bulb into the center of the cup and make sure it's in the middle of the cup as well, so we get that heart right in the center of our cup when we're finished. If you're pushing the heart slightly to the left or to the right, it will still look like good latte art, but it just won't be sitting in the center of the cup. So we're pouring that bulb carefully, just keeping that milk flowing, and as the cup fills, we want to straighten up that cup so it doesn't spill. You should notice with that milk flow that the heart kind of forms itself as the milk flows around the spout of the jug. But to finish off the heart, what we're going to do is we're going to lift our jug up and pull through. That's going to drag the top and the bottom of the heart to finish off that heart shape. A couple of things to help perfect your hearts. Now if your milk is too thin, when you start pouring your pattern, it won't have good structure, so that will change the shape of your heart. Having the correct texture to your milk is actually really important for all latte art, but especially with that heart where you're doing very little movement, having that correct texture really helps. Making sure you have your jug angle nice and straight as well. Also make sure your heart is nice and symmetrical, which is really important. Also, you can see here how important it is to set the crema first, because you can have a really nice pattern, but if the crema isn't set, it won't look as striking as if you have that nice brown surface. Once you get that basic heart down where you're just holding the jug nice and steady, you can try embellishing your heart by giving that jug a little bit of a wiggle back and forth as your cup is filling, and then still lift up and pull through. The heart is such a great latte art pattern to start off with, because even though it is quite simple, making a very sharp, crisp heart is actually quite difficult, and it's a good thing to practice. Of course, if you have really good quality espresso and milk, it actually makes it a lot easier to do your latte art. So thanks again to La Marzocco for lending me their Linear Mini for these episodes. So your homework this week in the bootcamp is to practice that latte art heart. So get really good at setting that crema, move that jug in close and get that bulb forming, lift up and pull through. Remember, if you need some coffee while you're doing this bootcamp, you can use the code LATTEART, all one word, and that will give you 20% off my coffee that I roast myself at coffeefusion.com.au. If you love my coffee and you want to support the channel, you can always sign up to that coffee subscription. It's just $5 for your first delivery, which will give you 15 cups worth of samples of some blends and single origins that I have going on at the moment. Next week, we're going to learn how to pour the tulip, and that's an extension of this pattern. So practice your hearts this week. Send me some photos to my Instagram at @thecoffeefusion, and I can give you some tips on what you're doing well or where you're going wrong. Lastly, I'm really trying to build this community to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you enjoy this content and you're not yet subscribed, click that button and I'll see you next week for the tulip video. Keep frothin'!